Hello and welcome back to Planet Zoo and to Zoo Sicily. Today we are back in our wonderful project with the Fennec Fox habitat, and it's going to be a very good habitat. Honestly, it's my best Fennec Fox habitat I did so far, with a couple of cool things I haven't done in the past. So be curious for what we are doing, and also make sure to stick with me. I'm going to talk a lot about the future of Zoo Sicily in today's video. It's going to be fun, but before we really start, I have another sponsored message for you guys. So let's do that. Special thanks to our sponsor of today's video and the sponsor of the channel. Instant Gaming is a wonderful platform on which you can get your favorite games to a great value. Here you've got 24/7 support, you've got over 10,000 games at your hand, and you can find them very simple via a search bar, just like our Planet games over here. Or if you fancy, have a look at cities, for example. Everything is here, including all the DLCs you wish to have. So special thanks again to Instant Gaming. Link is in the description if you want to grab a game. Please click there and have fun. Alright, we're back, and as always, I'm just super happy to be able to give you the chance to grab a good game with a good value. You know, as a lot of good games coming out during the second part of this year, it's going to be very exciting what we can get there. You can also pre-order and stuff like that, but you know this already. Now let's talk about this very dome in front of us. What would a Rudi build be without a dome, huh? Basically not a Rudi build, I guess. So at the end of the day, we have to always think about the fact that I have a special, how do you say that even? Passion for domes and for special builds. But this one over here is going to be a more zoo-like habitat, as you are used to it maybe from real life zoos, and it fits super well into this specific spot over here in the location on the opposite side of the Sandcat, but also behind the Black Panther. And then we're also going to have this wonderful terrace over there, from which you can have a wonderful overview into the vast nature of what Sicily is. It's just beautiful over here. So I'm still absolutely stoked with this project. And while you're seeing the speed build and a little bit of finicky stuff with you know, that just kind of weird tool that we all hate, but have to deal with. At the end of the day, I will do a little bit of an invisible pass at the top, simply because we can do this with free build, which is pretty cool, and this enables me to do something really nice with it. I at the end decided against making this dome also styled from the inside. It's going to be only from the outside, because that's what you see as a guest and you won't see it from the inside. And I think the Fennec Foxes don't really care too much about if it's nice looking or not. So I went for the functionality part of it. But it's looking super cool at the end. I honestly have to say that this habitat really grew on me during the build. I think it's one of the most finished ones I've ever done in terms of the viewing spots and stuff like that. It looks just super clean. It makes a whole lot of sense. It's really, really fitted in this spot very nicely. And it also makes the transition into what will be the restaurant area pretty nice. You'll see at the end of the episode, there is already the blueprint of the of what will be the terrace and what will be the restaurant. It's going to be a little bit more of a bigger episode next time around. So the next episode will definitely focus on finishing up this area over here. We might actually get in with some small exhibits as well, just making sure that we have something more for the guests to go to and also to include in the next episode. But the next episode will focus actually on the restaurant over here. That's going to sit next to the Fennec Foxes. But as you can tell, this dome is where they have their wonderful privacy sleeping place. We put a little tree on top that is growing from the center, and then we also have like this these kind of, you know, semi-open things. Just imagine there would be glass in there. I tried to put glass in, it just always looked weird because you couldn't make it round enough. You've seen at the beginning of the episode that I made it round, but with these round glass pieces you couldn't really do anything because they were overlapping too often, and then it just kind of looked weird again. So yeah, I couldn't really fit any real nice looking glass in there, but you have to imagine that this would be glass, obviously, so people do not throw anything in there. You know, food is one thing, but you could also put, like, I don't know, keys or anything that would hurt the animals seriously. So I'm very happy that this is not the case in real life, and so just imagine that there is glass in between. Speaking of imagining or imagination, this is going to be first of the or one of the first builds where we actually only use a facade instead of a real building. So on the opposite side with the Sandcat, we had a real building. It was repurposed, obviously, to the backstage. But for the Fennec Foxes, we will utilize a couple of theme park elements, as in just a backdrop that is not really existing. The only thing that goes through there in my imagination is a facility pathway that just goes from the entrance of the Habitat towards the restaurant. You'll see that later, but it's actually looking good, and I really like how this turned out. But in general, I like how this corner in general over here turned out. It's looking really, really nice. It's a really kind of it feels finished, it feels good, it feels nice. I just genuinely love the fact that we have chosen this spot over here to bring something in, and I can really feel how this is helping me to bring this project to another level in terms of habitats in general. I mean, we have a lot of bigger areas that look absolutely fantastic, and they look dope. But then we were lacking a couple of these smaller habitats that you would just spend some time there, and your kids could actually have a look while you sit on a bench. And I don't know, growing and having a kid just makes me also think different about layouts of a park, because as a young person without any responsibilities other than keeping myself alive, which was hard enough though, but at the end of the day there was no other responsibility than that. You have a totally different view on how certain parks should look and how certain things are layouted, because you also do not have any issues. You can just, and you want to see big things, you want to go on big roller coasters, you want to go on stuff like that. But the more you grow and the more you are in a different position, and I'm not even speaking of being a parent, just imagine people who are disabled or sitting in a wheelchair or something like that, want and are allowed to enjoy parks the exact same way. And so you have to incorporate certain things for those people as well. And I just kind of love the fact, thinking more and more about this, making things just super accessible. That I think this is the biggest thing about Zoo Sicily. It should be a very barrier-free park at the end of the day. I'm saying very, not fully, because there's also something about, and maybe this is weird now, but it's my personal opinion. Don't take this as just something that is, I don't know, what people think. It's just my personal opinion. But I think sometimes in a very few occasions, it's totally fine if things are not barrier free. And I'm even speaking as a dad who's the one, pushing the stroller and stuff like that. Sometimes in historical areas, I just think keeping the character is more important than changing it. I mean, you can always, as long as you provide something that doesn't change how the original thing is. So, for example, if you add some ramps that you can actually get rid of again, like these metal ramps or something like that, this is totally fine. But then again, just don't change the overall build, because it kind of has a historic value. And I think sometimes it's just important to keep a certain character in a few areas, and then I'm totally fine. But whenever you do something more modern and something that is totally planned, why wouldn't you do it barrier free? There's just no reason why you wouldn't. But yeah, speaking of struggles, this is a little bit of a struggle I had over here myself when I was trying to bring in, again, the foliage and the rocks and stuff. It's actually a juggle at this point to really keep that Sicilian and not African. And it's fun because I did not know how similar certain elements of those two cultural influences are, even though you can pretty much distinguish both, like, in a split second. But when it comes to nature and specific usage of materials, it is more similar than you would think. And I think this is also down to the fact that you do not really think too often about the fact what weather and temperature and climate has as an influence, And I think this is just pretty much obvious why certain elements are used the same way, because they have been used over decades and have been tested and have been found the exact perfect thing to be used in these climate conditions. And that just makes sense. But at the end of the day, I wanted to keep this Sicilian style, and this is what the restaurant is going to be made for. This is the actual tool I'll need to make this area really look Sicilian, so you can really expect this thing to be a wonderful little area as you would imagining in Sicily. I want to have this one as a location you would go to in the evenings in Sicily just having a wonderful Italian, South Italian, Mediterranean evening with the Mediterranean Sea that you can look at, and just something that you would enjoy as a kid and as an adult, but also as a parent, something that the whole family would enjoy and can turn into like an actual party, but then again can also be like a family friendly party as long as, you know, the kids are awake, but once they're in bed, the party gets a little bit more, you know, tipsy, I should say. But no, at the end of the day, I'm really happy with the idea that stands behind that. Also in the usage of colors and stuff, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be really good, and I'm really looking forward to how this is turning out once it's done. Because at the moment I'm working on the side project, which I'm about to have a live stream. I'm very sorry, the live stream might be. I'm not even sure when I'm going to upload this video. If everything runs well, it's going to be uploaded on Saturday, but it's more likely to be uploaded on Sunday. But also the live stream is going to be more likely on Sunday, so keep your eyes on my Twitch channel. Maybe I'm live tonight, depending on which day I'm uploading. It's both accurate, I guess. But it's yeah, let me just quickly give you a little note to why it's so difficult at the moment. So the last couple weeks at work have been insanely busy, insanely stressful. We were about to hand in a couple of jobs with a deadline, and as it always is, the closer you get to the deadline, you obviously find a bajillion jobs that have to be done. And yeah, just in general, also, you know, preseason has started with football as well, and just our house and outside weather is good, so you start doing stuff in the garden again. So many things happening IRL, so that made me really juggle my time, and at the end of the day, there was not really that much time left, and so I had to just kind of cancel my plans here and there and reschedule, which is always the case if you're not doing this full time. You have to adjust this to your everyday life, and I really hope that you guys are fine with that. I still think that I'm doing way more than enough content, given the fact that I'm doing this as a hobby. So please be nice with me, especially with the live streams. We will keep our schedule. We will kind of keep on, not schedule, but our promise to have about 2 live streams a week. It's hard at the moment, but I'm getting there. It's working, you know. So we had Monday, so maybe this time around Sunday, and who knows, maybe Monday again. We'll see about that. But yeah, speaking of see about that, we are now going to add the latest fans, and this one is really nice looking, because this is so simple, you know, and I'm going to make like a nice little curvature into it, and this little curvature really makes this stand out. It's something that I haven't done too often, and I'm not sure why, but this little curvature in the altitude change makes it already so much more realistic as in a real zoo. You would incorporate these altitudes or like these height differences, obviously for kids as well, so that they can also have a look, and kids grow quite quickly. So some kids can stand on the left hand side where the wall is not as deep, and then on the other side, the very small kids can have a little looky look. You know, over the fence. And this is something I never thought about, but this spreads out the kids by themselves. You know, you don't even have to do it yourself. If everything maintains the same height, the kids would always go to the one spot that you can see the best. I mean, still they would do this as well, but some other kids now might actually go to a different position to see better, because it's not as tall and not as high, and therefore they spread out a little bit according to their own body height. And I think this is kind of a beautiful concept I never thought about, but you know, that's making it. Oops, I just hit my microphone. I haven't done that in a while for the live stream. I mean, I do that all the time in for the video. I do that all the time in live stream, but I don't do that too often in videos anymore. I changed the position of my microphone a bit. If the sound might be a little bit different right now, that's down to it. And also the last episode has been super low. I'm very sorry about this. I received an Elgato update for the microphone, and they cranked up the volume of the headphones. And I didn't notice that, and I was like, oh my god, why was my microphone so loud? And I just toned it all the way down so my ears wouldn't bleed. What I didn't notice is that my headphones were cranked up like twice as much as before or so. And so it just seemed, for me, it seemed fine, but apparently on YouTube it was way too low. So sorry for that. It should be fixed for this episode. I took the old values and should be fine right now. So yeah, as you can see, this is another little viewing spot over here, which is totally beautiful. I love it. It's looking so slick and so nice looking over there. Absolutely gorgeous. But yeah, so that's that for the time lapse. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. There are a couple of little things I did in between, but you'll see them once we are in the real-time part in a couple of seconds. So let's jump over there. Alrighty then, so here we are in the real-time part as promised, and don't mind the left-hand side, it's not fully done yet. We need to do some fencing and stuff, nothing major, but just being sure you know that this is not meant as the final result. But over here, this is a lot more final as we go to this tiny elevated viewing area. I quite like this little planter here in the front, and once you go in, you can already see there are the foxes in here. Look at that, you can see it. Moving along in this tiny little area. You can already see the restaurant peeking in the background. So this bit over here will be a bit more stylized. As you can see, this wall over here is already done. We've got some tiny little holes, well, actually gates, whatever you want to call them, where they could literally go in and have a little nap or so. But as I said, this is just the backstage facade as I was talking about in the time-lapse. And yeah, so that's that. And they do have that little cave below this wonderful little raised platform. So we're going to go there right in a second. So this is last episode's Sandcat habitat over here. Also, if you mind my voice, I'm going to have a little scratchy voice at the moment. I think all the AC in the car and so on is paying tribute now to my voice. We've got a tiny little kids viewing over here where you can see the foxes maybe having a little nap in here if you fancy doing so. Also, don't mind these. Omi still needs to adjust them. So Omi, please. We need the Fennec Foxes too. But yeah, so actually we go up here and oh yeah, there you go. The game just lets me go up. And look at that. What a nice vista this is. So you're raised above and you can see them without disturbing them too much. And you have a little bit of a walk over here. Look at that. There's one of the little cuties. Ah, they're so cute, but they're so tiny as well. They're like so freaking tiny. But yeah, you can also stroll around and have a nice look on this side to the restaurant. Maybe see people preparing some stuff or so. And then you do also have another look into the habitat, or you turn around and you do have some peeks inside of this little hole. So you can have a look if you can see them maybe having a little nap or maybe napping from the drink or whatever. So we have the ugly pipe hidden in here. Finally, we don't have them inside. And yeah, some plants over here hiding as well. There's like a little burrow for them. So really nice, you know, it's very hidden and gives them a lot of privacy. Really quite dig this. I really dig this. Look at that one. You can see them in the back here. But yeah, you turn around and honestly, this is going to be turned into a nice little plaza with the viewing area right in front of the restaurant. So it's going to be on the right-hand side. This is going to be the terrace over here. And then on the right-hand side, I'm going to style this cliff or whatever this is into like a Sicilian-style cliff and make this like a nice little cut-off area here. In where you can have a little look into the vast lands, as I said, as of Sicily. That's going to be really cool. But yeah, on the left-hand side, you've got a final look to our little Fennec Foxes over here. Look at this cutie little animal. And yeah, that's about that. I don't really have more to show. I might actually just jump out of the Explore Cam, go into the free look and show this to you from above. Quite digging the style, quite digging the habitat. It's actually really nice looking. It's a really, as I said, the footprint of the habitat is so nice. I really dig this. Like with the roundish viewing platform, you've got this nice little hiding place underneath the tree, and then you've got some other little shady plants, like actually plants that do some shade, not shady plants. But yeah, it's really, I just really like how this all turned out. I really do hope that you guys also like it too. There's again not really that much more I can talk about as of now. As I said, promise next episode will be finished this area, and then also a bit of nature work goes into this cliff here as well, because we're gonna guide the pathway into this open area. This will be part of the zoo. Not sure what we're going to do over here, but this one is going to be finished, and then we're going to finish off this pathway leading over here to the lemurs, and that's basically the finishing off stages of the zoo. However, that's going to take a couple more months though. It's not done too quickly. This plateau over here will be left out. It's not really needed, and also in terms of performance, really don't need to do that. But yeah, so really hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. I certainly did. It took me a while, but the live streams were a lot of fun, so I hope you guys had some fun too. Until then, have a wonderful time, and yeah, as always, if you like the content and want to see more, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And now I wish you guys a wonderful time. See you in the next one, and goodbye.